I'm going to get everything set up and we're going to chat for a few minutes. I know I'm a couple minutes early, but I wanted to just get everybody a chance to get in here. I want to see comments. Go. Comments. Okay, I'm going to get my computer set up for Facebook so that I have comments directly in front of me. I'm not sure. I'm using my phone because my computer got all wonky the other day with the lighting. So we're using my phone. I'm going to sign into Facebook and just make sure we can see messages. And then that way, if you have questions and you're on Facebook, bulk of my audience right now is on Facebook. So hi, guys. I just want to make sure I can answer and respond. There we go. All right. Okay, so we're going to see comments to the right, maybe. Yes. Okay. Live chat. Yes. All right. Cool. We are set up. We still have a minute to go. During this minute, I wanted to chat with you guys a little bit about something very prevalent and pertinent to our lives today. This week, YouTube, a lot of the creators have gotten together and we're putting out different videos to call awareness to helping the UK through UNICEF. Now, UNICEF is the organization that specifically targets children and wants to help the children that are displaced, the ones that are with families that just need help. So that's why you see the Creators for Peace up in the corner. There should be a link in the description on YouTube. Oh, one thing I forgot to do. Let's turn the sound off. There we go. There is a link in the description that will take you to the Creators for Peace donation page. There are millions of kids right now that are displaced. I saw, it's going to make me cry again. I saw a heartbreaking video on TikTok. This little boy, 5, 6 years old, and he's dragging his stuff and just crying. And no family. It was just him. And he's not alone. That's the heartbreaking thing. So when this came up, I had to participate. I have several people from the Ukraine and from Russia right now who live in the States and live in various other areas that I'm connected to who they're calling for peace. Everybody's calling for peace. Right now, the kids really do need our help. So if you can't donate, pray. Some positive vibes up, whatever the case may be, whether you donate to UNICEF or you go somewhere else, completely up to you. Just make sure that the place that you're donating to is I say valid, but basically it's on the up and up. Just make sure it's on the up and up. We really want to, if you're donating to help, you really want what you're donating to go to the source, whether it's time, money, resources. You want it to get where you want it to go. And I know there are a million other things in this world happening all at the same time, but right now this is one of the hot topics. You guys know I don't talk politics on social media. I don't. So this is not the place to talk politics. This is the place to gather together and try and do something to help and better our world. That's part of my mission, is to help better this world in the way that I'm able to. So that being said, link is below for the Creators for Peace. If you have several YouTubers that you follow, you will notice this week that they're doing the same thing. It's from March 21st to the 28th. So you will see a lot of videos, and our live on Thursday will have the creators for peace as well. I think the things that I'm going to make on Thursday, I think I'm going to make a dessert and a main dish. So we'll see. I'm still kind of toying with what we should bring into the menu. Give me one sec. Let me quiet the pupper over there. I think she hears me talking in the kitchen. She's like, what is the deal? I'm not out. It's what happens when you have spoiled puppers that are part of every part of your life. All right, you guys. So today we're going to talk about how to infuse healthier habits. And a lot of my clients have learned this. So when you infuse healthier habits into your life versus just creating healthier habits, when you infuse them, you actually tap into your primal instincts, and those primal instincts help you maintain those healthier habits long term. They help you return to those habits when life throws you a curveball, because this is real life. There will be curveballs. There will be good ones, there will be bad ones, there will be things that just devastate you. And once you have started to heal from that devastation, from that trauma, you want to have something that's a good solid foundation to kind of come back to. And that's what infusing healthier habits truly means. It's something that thankfully I am seeing more and more of in discussions, but it's something that I learned a very, very long time ago. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Bonnie. This is my channel, and we talk about healthy in a wild world. Starting this live with the Ukraine and all the upheaval that is happening out there and the devastation, it's just one of many things that have created this wild world we live in. I mean, it was wild before COVID, and nowadays, ooh, all right. So I'm on a mission to help more than 1 billion people upgrade their lives and infuse it, because if we hit that number, then now it's no longer about the food source or, you know, this fast food restaurant or that one. They're not the evil creatures. They aren't. They're in our world. We know it. We have to learn to live with it. So let's make a healthier lifestyle out of it, shall we? All right, so today's talk about infusing healthier habits. There's a couple of different things we're going to go through. We're going to actually walk through the three-step process that I've been using almost since the get-go. So 2003, I moved to California. I started working with a trainer and a nutritionist, and with their help, I lost the remaining 70 pounds that I needed to lose. In total, I lost 100 pounds. And ever since then, I've been able to keep it off despite major injuries or injury, and IVF, fertility treatments, twin pregnancy. Here I am. I am finally seeing the scale move. So that means all that thyroid stuff I put into place about a month and a half ago is working for sure, because that scale is most definitely moving. With this life transition, having the boys, IVF, things like that, I was up, after the boys, I was up 60 pounds. I'm now only up, was it 40? So this is you return to your healthier habits. Throughout IVF, throughout all the fertility treatments, all the testing, all the hormone crap they jammed in my body, pregnancy was a little difficult, but still, throughout all of that, I was able to come back to my healthy base. I have people I've worked with over the years who life hits them and they stray, but then they come back to this healthy foundation. And rather than coming to a place where they feel like they don't know what to do and they don't know how to motivate themselves to make these changes, the people I work with, A, you know what to do. B, you know, you can always reach out to me if you need accountability, no matter what. Once you pay me and we work together, that's it. You're mine and we're connected as long as you would like to stay connected. Okay? Hi, Mandy. When life hits you and you need the motivation, you need the accountability, and you need to make those changes, you know what they are, you know what works for you, and you know what doesn't. Majority of people, when they come to work with me, have already been through the gamut. When I first lost weight, I went through just about all of the weight loss programs out there at the time. Now, it was 2003, so nowadays it's a little bit different. There's a few more. But I went through all of them, and I hate being told what to do. I hate it. My mother will tell you, if she tells me what to do, I'm going to do the exact opposite. I'm in my late 40s, and I still do that. Still, it's in here. And I'm not alone, because that's actually part of human nature. We don't like being told what to do. We don't like being dictated to. We like being taught. We like to learn. Our brains love to learn. And we like to be able to use that information and apply it and integrate it and infuse it in our own way. Hence how I ended up with this process, okay? It started with me losing weight, and then over the years, developing food allergies, sensitivities, very minor AI issues, which are definitely related to my sensitivities and intolerance to dairy, and really watching my clients and seeing what worked for them, what didn't work for them. And having this 3-step process really did help. So now, there's 2 questions I posted up in the description. Are there specific steps? What are they? I didn't put that in there, but I mean, implied, what are they? And then, will it always be a struggle to stick to healthier habits? The answer is no. It is not always a struggle. And if anyone tells you otherwise, they're lying to you. There are ways that you can do this, and my process is not the only one. I firmly believe that there's something out there for each and every one of us. I don't think that we need to starve ourselves. I don't think we need to restrict ourselves. I think we need to live in balance and harmony with nature and our bodies. And we need to learn how to do that for us. That's part of infusing healthier habits into your life, is learning how to infuse habit choices, healthier choices, in a way that aligns with your life. Now, is it a challenge to change in the beginning? Absolutely, because our brains don't like change. We've talked about this. Protective parent up here. It doesn't like change. It sees change as a potential life-threatening event. So the first 4 to 6 weeks, yeah, it's a challenge. But once you get past that 4 to 6 weeks, it shouldn't feel like such a struggle. It shouldn't. Sometimes it does. I've had a rare few where it has, and they're stubborn. They will tell you flat out how stubborn they really are, and I get it. I'm very similar. And it's just a matter of, at that point, going back and looking and making sure that the things that have been put into place truly align with what they're feeling. Perhaps they didn't feel everything that they needed to at the time that we were talking about healthier choices and strategizing when these choices come into play. Yeah, the drawing of how you view yourself, the My Felicia exercise that we did a couple weeks ago, Mandy's saying that that's the most useful that she's ever gotten. That has actually been very helpful for a lot of people. It gives you insight into who you are, how you think about yourself. Because if you're viewing yourself in an unhealthy way, shifting to a healthier lifestyle and healthier habits can be a significant challenge, because your brain doesn't see you as worthy of having those healthier choices. And in reality, you are very worthy of it. Every single one of us are. We aren't on this earth to just disintegrate and die. We are on this earth to do something. Every one of us is different. I don't know what we're supposed to do, but you know, Mother Nature, if you really keep it simple, you're supposed to thrive, reproduce, live, help the earth live, help other animals live. You can't do that if you don't value and see yourself as worthy of such. And yes, I know mindset is definitely an area where some people need to go and work with professionals. Absolutely. That's what they're there for. That's why they have a job. That's why I have a job. Why am I telling you and giving you the exact steps that I walk through with my clients? Because some of you don't need me. You just need a step-by-step. And it annoys the crap out of me to go to someone's page, know that I'm not necessarily someone that, I would help them work with me and vice versa. Like I wouldn't benefit from you working with me. But if you give me the steps, because that's all I want, and nobody's giving you steps because like marketing, don't give all your stuff out. My job is not to hide shit from you. My job is to help you. And some of you will need to work with me. Some of you will need that extra helping hand, right? Some of you will need that professional resource. Some of you won't. Some of you just need to know what you do. So today, we're talking about what you do. All right? So we're going to talk curveballs at the end and how to come back. All right? So if you're worried about life curveballs, we will come back to it and talk about how to apply it to this 3-step process. And I love having a whiteboard behind me, but I still don't have the whiteboards up in my office, so easel it is. All right, so here's the process. You ready? Reset, restore, rejuvenate. That's it. All right, I'm done. We're gonna go now. Just kidding. All right, so this is obviously broken up into different segments. So here's how this works. So the reset, right? That is your elimination diet. That's the section. That's like the first 3 weeks. We're removing everything that could potentially be problematic. You are using a lot to track food, to track reactions, even if you think they're not associated with whatever health issues you've been dealing with, right? For some of you, this is going to take a little bit longer than 3 weeks, because if you come to me and you think you have an autoimmune condition, your reset is going to take 4 to 6 weeks, because we're not stripping everything out. We're not doing an elimination. Some of you will come and you're not eating enough calories. So the very first thing I do in a reset is I ask you, hold on. I need to switch this. I'm right-handed. I don't know why I put this on the left. That was not very smart of me. All right. So when we reset, here's the very first thing we do. All right, so we have our reset. Track calories. You want 3 to 5 days. And I talked about this a little bit last week. You want 3 to 5 days. And you want to make sure that they're days where you're either working or you're going to school. They're your work days, okay? They're the ones that have things that you have to do on those days no matter what. If you have a wonky schedule, kind of like I do, pick 3 to 5 days. 3 to 5 of your busiest days. Need to wash my pen. And once you have those 3 to 5 days of a log, you want to look at how much you're actually eating versus how much you are burning. All right, couch potato, a 5-5 couch potato burns between 1,200 to 1,500 calories a day. Majority of programs like meal tracking programs, food tracking programs, your the double W places, plus those that are like that, they track and try to recommend 1,200 as a base calorie, right? But that's not the full picture. 1,200 is survival. It's keeping you alive. Going below that 1,200 requires a doctor's intervention. And if you are here and listening to me because of some sort of inflammatory condition or potential inflammatory situation, the last thing you need to do is deplete your calories below 1,200 to 1,500. You need to find out how much you're eating and how much you're burning, so that you can make sure that you're eating and you're consuming at least enough calories to sustain bodily functions. And 9 times out of 10, you aren't. I have so many people pop into my DMs over on LinkedIn. They've kind of stopped in Facebook, thankfully. But they're still like clockwork. Oh, you need a appetite suppressant. Seen the commercials on TV? They're going hog wild right now. Why? Because March is turning into April, so everyone who started those healthier habits in January has since given them up, and now there's like a feeling of, oh my gosh, this is my, you know, New Year's resolution. I need to get back to it. So now the marketing that you see over the next month is going to be related to appetite suppressant and weight loss assistance, et cetera, right? All associated with suppressing your appetite. And in reality, in over 18 years, I have run into 2 people who were eating too much. 2. Neither one were morbidly obese. Neither one had an autoimmune condition, issue, or any inflammatory situation whatsoever. They were simply eating too much of the wrong foods. And they weren't feeling full. And it's ironic because I did not meet them in the same city. If you haven't followed my story for a while, I have lived in 5 different states. I lived in Maryland my entire life, border of DC, so I'm a DC chick. I am a Maryland girl from inside out. You will not get that out of me. And in living in all of those cities and states, I'm finding very similar situations. And 9 times out of 10, it's you're not eating enough. Instead of going out and trying whatever the next thing is that you feel like you need to try, whether it's me or whether it's something else, the very first step you need to figure out how much you're eating. And from that food log, we can also take the same food log and look at what you're eating. If you're someone who comes to me, or let's say you're doing this on your own, and you're having digestive upset, you're getting sick, you're getting headaches, any of the spectrum of symptoms related to an inflammatory condition or a chronic inflammation situation, autoimmune potential, or chronic illness, then what you want to do on that log, because I know Fitbit, MyFitnessPal, and a few of the others, they have a notes section. So if that's how you're doing it, by all means. I have had people come to me with stacks and stacks and stacks of Post-its. I sat in my apartment one day, someone gave me a bag of Post-its. You know the IKEA bags, the shopping bags? An IKEA bag of Post-its. I had them on my wall. I had to organize them by date so that I knew what they were eating when. But where I can look at it and go, okay, here's what's happening, and I can calculate caloric intake and all of that, because that's part of what you're trained to do as a nutritionist. especially after all these years. It's not so easy for you. So it's something that I offer my clients, that I'll look at these things for you, okay? If you're looking at this on your own, then one of the things you don't want to do is you don't just want to track your food. You want to make sure you're tracking your food and any sort of symptoms you're having. You have a sniffly nose, write it down, write the time. You're going to write down what time you ate. It is 3 to 5 days, you guys. I'm not looking at your logging for your entire reset. There are situations where that's necessary, but for the majority of you, tracking your food, tracking your symptoms, tracking what time you're eating will give you a very good view of what's happening. Are you eating enough? Are you eating enough of the right foods? Do you have a deficit that is obvious in your intake? Can we identify things that would trigger inflammation? Commonalities. And then we look at patterns. And it's hard to see patterns over 3 to 5 days, but when we talk about what's in that 3 to 5 days, and when you look at what's in that 3 to 5 days, in writing, black and white, do not rely on your brain. I will tell you that if you rely on your brain, it's going to lie to you. Our brain is very good at lying to us. We already know that, right? We've talked about this time and time again. It's a protective mechanism. You need to write it down. By writing it down, you can see what's happening, okay? You can see what is going on. Yeah, so what Mandy is saying over here, when she and I first talked, and Mandy's someone you guys have seen on my IG. When Mandy and I first talked, I had told her she needed 2,300 calories a day. And I don't remember, Mandy. I know you were a lot lower than that. But because of how much she works out, because of the level of activity within her life, she needed at least 2,300 calories just to survive. And Mandy's a lot shorter than I am. Okay, Mandy, you're gonna have to pop up. I don't remember how tall you are. I know you're shorter than me, but I don't remember. And I don't remember. Okay, so she restricted herself to 1,100 calories a day. So now, if you can do quick math, 2,300 and 1,100, that's 1,200 calorie deficit. She's not alone, you guys. 5'1". So before any of y'all come at me and say, no, I'm short, I only need, no. You need to look and see what you're eating, what you're burning. Look at times, look at symptoms. You will have a very balanced view. Thank you, Chickadee, of what is happening in your body, whether you're getting enough calories. Because I am telling you, the number of conversations, I cannot count the number of conversations I have had where simply telling someone that they're not eating enough has drastically changed their life. They've never worked with me. They've never worked with anybody. Not from that point forward. They just start eating healthier. And they pop up in my groups and they pop up on my lives. And, you know, I hear from them every once in a while. I hear from a lot of them every once in a while, actually. And it's legit just because, yeah, Mandy's on my IG. I'll put a link in the description. That way you guys can see it. See that actual post. Because there's a big difference from a year ago when we had a conversation to now. You guys can do the same exact thing. Weight loss is all about health. It's creating that balanced lifestyle, balanced, healthy situation, right? Infusing the healthier habits so you don't have to think about it. So now that's your reset. Your reset is bringing you back to neutral, okay? And it's not just about caloric intake. That just gives us a view of what's happening. And it takes care of 3 potential culprits in what's making you feel like crap, okay? What's stagnating your health, what's stagnating weight loss, weight gain, whatever the case is, because some of you do need to gain weight, not lose weight. And for those of you out there who struggle to lose weight like I do, the opposite is actually a real thing. And there's more people like that in this world than you know. Now, one of the things that happens during this reset, which is going to impact us in stage 2, is when we go through that, we are removing and we are deleting all of your brain's protective mechanisms. Everything that it has been programmed to protect you against, or feels like it needs to protect you against, is erased. Okay? The reason this is such a crucial topic for me to mention is that also means that you're going to feel things a little bit stronger. So if someone comes at you with the flu or what have you, and you contract it, your immune system will be built up, but the things that you normally would respond to, that your body's like, nope, here we're going to protect you. Here's your protective cape, right? Your superhero cape. It's not there. So you need to make sure that whatever way you have been eating, if you start eating 80% plant-based, you need to make sure that you continue to eat plant-based. This is also the time, this transition is the time when your brain goes into teenager mode, rebellious teenager mode, and it starts trying to convince you not to stick with what's happening, right? Not to stick with the extra habits, not to change these habits. No, thank you. Yes, you need energy, plug you in. Energy, food, and that kind of goes in this. You're going to pay attention to sleep and energy during this time, because you want to make sure you are fully aware that your body needs the healthier foods that you've been eating. You want to continue doing so. This is the point where a lot of people kind of fall off, and some people within that first 7 to 14 days, sometimes, you know, it can take a little bit longer. So within that 21-day period, something called a healing crisis happens. Now, if you went to your licensed medical practitioner and said, I think I'm having a healing crisis, he or she would tell you that you were batshit crazy. It is something that exists in functional medicine. It exists in holistic healthcare. Here's what a healing crisis is. The progression to illness and the progression to healing are exactly the same, but it's like what I just did with my hands, and it's one of those instinctive responses for me to go out and come in. Illness builds. Healing removes. Okay? So as you're progressing into illness, you go through various stages, right? Progressively gets more intense. When you look to heal and you're removing illness, and illness can be just a simple inflammatory state based on diet and health or lifestyle, okay? When you're removing it, your body has to reverse the process. So it has to reverse engineer back to neutral. So what can happen during that time frame is you wake up and you're stuffy, you can feel crampy again, like you were at your worst. It's something that a lot of people experience. Now, healing crisis only lasts up to 3 to 4 days. It shouldn't last longer than that. During that time frame, you kind of take a step back. You just keep eating healthier, keep sticking with those healthier habits, and sticking with your reset program, which a lot of times what a reset program means is you're eating the right amount of calories. Whatever we decided within that 3 to 5 day period was a healthy caloric intake for you, you're eating that. You're making sure that, you know, 60 to 80% is plant-based. You're making sure that whatever you're eating, because by the time you hit 7 days, trust me, you know if the food you're eating is making you sick or sicker. You should start feeling more energetic. You should start sleeping better. And when you get to the point where you're going reset to restore, that's when that healing crisis can hit. right? And your protective mechanisms are down. So like now we have to restore them. So I'm saying all that to say, make sure that when you're transitioning from reset to restore, you get past that 3rd week, take that time frame, and just be very diligent, okay? I always give allowances to people because when you're making changes, if you are too hard on yourself, one falter sends you in the complete opposite direction, then now you're starting all over. At least you feel like you're starting all over. You don't need to do that. But this is the time frame, and it'll take about 2 weeks, okay? You just have to be really diligent during those 2 weeks. And let's say you go out and you go hog wild, or there's a wedding, or there's a family gathering, or there's a party, or whatever the case may be, and you want to eat what's there. You're not fully through your elimination and reintroduction. Reintroduction happens during restoration. But you're not completely through that, but for whatever the case, I mean, everybody has their own reasons. You go to this party and you're like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Easy. Make sure before you go to bed, you have a glass of lemon ginger tea. Wake up the next morning, do the same thing. Lemon, ginger, cucumber, turmeric. Those are going to be your 4 best friends for about 3 days. It helps you get right back in. It minimizes your response and helps your body protect itself when its protective mechanisms are down, okay? Now, when you're delving into restore, the very beginning, we're looking at what cravings you had during reset, all right? How you're eating during reset is you're going to eat 4 to 6 times a day. Split up your meals 4 to 6 times. When you get to restore, you should have a good understanding of how your body is naturally gravitating to eating. It could mean, yes, it could mean that what you're doing is you're just naturally getting into the flow of things, and your body will just naturally gravitate into these time frames, and you'll start forgetting this morning snack or this afternoon snack, right? Or the evening one. The evening one is usually the one that goes first. And your body is happy eating 4 times a day. And it just naturally gets into that 4 times a day eating. Ideally, that's what happens. And I've seen it happen more often than not, is you just naturally gravitate here. Do not fight it. Pay attention to it. Do not fight it. That is part of infusing healthier habits into your lifestyle, is when you just let things kind of flow into place because you've given it the tools that it needs, the fuel that it needs to gravitate to what it naturally is inclined to do. It's so much easier to stick with healthier habits. It really is. So now, during this point, we're not journaling. We are just paying attention, and we're just on the path, okay? It takes between 3 to 6 weeks during that second time frame based on autoimmune conditions, inflammatory situations, anything that we had already been dealing with within reset, as we talked about. Those situations, we take baby steps. Anything that you go too intensely into when you are dealing with an autoimmune or a chronic illness, or any sort of chronic inflammatory situation, right? It's going to send your body the wrong direction. It's going to put it into a traumatized state, and then that's going to trigger stress reactions and stress responses. Baby steps. Yes, it means it takes longer, but by the time we're done, it's infused into your life. You feel better. You're energetic. You're sleeping better. It all comes around, okay? And if you're one of these people that has tried the multitude of things and it's just not working for you, maybe you need to slow down these. You know, maybe your reset does take 6 weeks and the restore takes 6 weeks. There's nothing wrong with it. This is about you. It's about your health, your life. not mine. So if you need to take longer to get there, then that's what you do. Because at the end of all of this, the goal is to have a healthier lifestyle where your primal instincts take over. And that's what's happening during Restore, is your primal instincts are kind of coming around and going, wait a minute, okay, so this thing that we're doing here, we feel better, we like this, so let's do that again. Okay? So let's do that again. And you do it often enough. Practice. I'm always saying you have to practice your healthier habits. You're always practicing healthier habits. Practicing making healthier choices. Because eventually, you practice, you become an expert, right? Anything we do, you practice, you become an expert. It's all part of growth mindset. We can become an expert in anything, natural talent or not. You just have to practice. And that's the point where we get to rejuvenation. You know you're in rejuvenation because you wake up energized more often than not. You live your day and you're not so focused on your food that it's the number one concern. You have all these other things happening in your world. And here's food all the way down here. You're just eating. You just know when you go grocery shopping, these are the foods that you get. Here are some new recipes for the month. We're going to take a little bit of fun. And what we do here is I like to make one new recipe a week. That's always been my goal. It's one new recipe a week. I got sidetracked a little bit with the boys when they were younger because, man, twins and babies who can't do their own thing and they aren't sleeping, it takes a toll. You can't just do everything you did before. You have to shift. You have to adjust, right? Because life adjusts, and we'll get there in a minute. But it's one of the things that I love is to make a new recipe each week. Now, the one thing that I talked to you guys about, I believe last week, was the meal plans and how I create those, right? Where I just take a few recipes. Now, the whole thing with these few recipes is most of them you guys can adapt from what you've already done, or you can just pick one a week, one new recipe a week, and infuse it into your life. Pick your own recipe. You can do that as well. If that's not your thing, okay. Just create some creativity, some new stuff each week, because our brains get bored. So now we talked about this last week. You cannot eat the same foods time and time and time and time again. When you are in Restore, shifting into rejuvenation, this is the time frame when you're looking at cementing the things that are going to be your primal instincts. Okay, your subconscious is still playing a role, but you're shifting to where your conscious is now taking over. And the minute you wake up multiple times a week, feel energized, you feel like you are going to go and you can take on the world, but you're still going to eat healthier, you're still going to have a healthier lifestyle, because now your cravings have shifted and you can feel it and you can taste it. You won't notice it for a good 2 weeks. It'll be happening for about 2 weeks, okay? And at that point, you know that those primal instincts are now being cemented into your subconscious, and your brain is shifting into back to that primal instinct of this is what we need to thrive. Not just survive, but thrive. Okay, that's rejuvenation. And once you're in rejuvenation, your body just continues to heal. A lot of times with chronic inflammation, chronic inflammatory situations, conditions, illnesses, autoimmune illnesses, sensitivities, chronic illness, that's a long list, I know, but in those situations, rejuvenation can take an additional 6 months. When I work with someone, we tend to go through all 3 stages. That's why the big program I have is 6 weeks. That's why the rejuvenation is 6 weeks. Or I mean, not 6 weeks, 6 months. Because you really are mastering your health. And once you get to rejuvenation, That's when you can say that you have a master's in your health. Now, what happens if life throws curveballs? Hold on a sec. I must. Yes. So Mandy's on chat talking about how much deep blue she used during reset because her muscles would cramp. And there's various things that happen. You can get muscle cramps. You can get headaches randomly. And if things like that happen, just know that that's your body shifting, okay? That's part of that healing crisis. Your body has to backtrack. All right, so now we've hit rejuvenation. You're in maintenance. You're confident. Your brain no longer dictates. Your subconscious no longer dictates those unhealthier habits that you had that led you into the inflammatory illness or condition that you were in when you started this whole process. Now you're in a much healthier place. Homeostasis is like so close you can taste it, and you're ready to just live life. But then out of the blue, here comes a curveball. Once you reach rejuvenation, it is much easier to come back to your healthier foundation, because that's what you're building over this 3-step process, is you're building your foundation. When you get to rejuvenation, you are building, or you have built a foundation that you can stand on, that you can jump on, that you can fall on, you can drop all sorts of crap on it, and it will still be there waiting for you. Let's say life throws you a curveball, and now, I mean, it's happening and has happened, God knows how much, since COVID. People are sitting in hospital rooms, you know, and they don't know what's going to happen, but like the only food available is this fast food. And granted, hospital food is better. Where we had the boys, Southwest is actually their the cafeteria is actually really good, but it's still like fast food, right? Well, you do what you need. You can reverse engineer just about anything, okay? Just about anything. There will be times when life throws enough of a curveball that you're off track for 1 to 3 months. Come back to your reset. Come back, write your log. Same process. Here's the difference. It will not take as long because your brain already knows those lessons. It's already in there. You just have to tap into them again by going back to reset, and you don't have to do a full reset. There's a 3-day reset. I believe it's on the website. I have to look. I'll post up a link later today, so everybody has access to it. But there's a 3-day reset that I use, and effectively what you're doing is you are eliminating, I believe, all grains. I at one point I shifted it and made it where it was just all gluten, so I have to look at that. You're going straight plant-based. If you eat any animal products, you're eating low fat, meaning you are not eating red meat, you are not eating chicken thighs, you're keeping it very lean, very simple, very easy to digest. And that process, while your original reset may have taken 4 to 6 weeks, this reset will only take you a good week, if that. A lot of times your brain needs the week more than your body needs the week. What happens, and what I've heard over time, is the people that do the 3-day reset, you know, after the fact, after life has hit you, what they end up doing is they come back to the reset, and within a day, all their cravings and everything are back. You just have to tap into the resources in your brain. So when you go through this process, it works. Mandy's saying it works, see? I'm gonna have to put your comments in the YouTube as well because they're really good. Thank you, by the way, for being very interactive. I really appreciate it. So with your reset, restore, rejuvenation, what will happen when you come back after, you know, life hits you with that curveball? You can actually jump from reset to rejuvenation. And for anyone wondering, I have ADHD, so the reason I'm always pointing and looking down right now is I have my notes in front of me to make sure I stay on track and I cover certain points that I want to make sure to mention. I can go off on tangents. I'm really good at that. So I always have an agenda and notes to make sure that I stay on track, to make sure that certain things that I want to get across to you, or certain statements, definitions I want you to hear, I say. So that's why I'm always pointing down. And that, me having my notes and my agenda, is just another healthier habit. The goal is to make your life easier, not to make it harder. My goal is to make health and healthy lifestyle so easy, you don't have another choice. Your brain just goes with you, and now all of a sudden you're living this healthier lifestyle, and you wake up one day and realize, oh my gosh, okay, I'm so much healthier. My jeans aren't fitting, my clothes aren't fitting. I need to figure out a new wardrobe. More balanced your health, healthier your body, the healthier the fuel and the foundation that you build. Okay, the healthier the fuel that you put into your body to build and maintain said foundation, the more your brain realizes that all those fat cells it's holding on to doesn't need to. That's why so many people can go and follow a nutrition plan without exercising and without being active initially. And for a lot of my clients, I actually don't even talk exercise until month 3. I don't. I would much rather you paid attention to one or the other for the first 6 weeks, and your body will thank you so much more if you focus on food first and then add in the activity and the exercise. I'm not saying don't. I'm saying that there are some of us in this world that have so much stress and intensity in our lives that trying to focus on creating a healthier lifestyle and including mindset plus activity plus diet changes, where everything is a shift and a dietary shift, you know, and your physical activity is a shift, it can feel like it's so time consuming, it's overwhelming. And for me personally, I switched into nutrition from fitness training because the conversations I was having with my clients were all about diet and food. And, you know, I had one client who paid me as a trainer, and we spent the first 3 weeks sitting and talking diet because she showed up at every session 3 times a week, you guys. She was a full-time client. She showed up 3 times a week, and for a month she showed up crying every day, every single time, because she felt like a failure. The first time it was because she had coffee with a homemade creamer. And when I asked her about the creamer, and she actually is the way that I found out about putting cocoa, like dark cocoa, into your coffee, along with some peppermint drops. She's the reason I know about that. That's how she made mocha. And she came crying because she thought I was going to be disappointed in her. First of all, I was impressed because, like, back then, that was maybe 2008, 2009. I just moved to San Diego. I mean, how creative is that? That was huge. And there was no reason for her tears. She was going through her own process. And it's the worst thing you do is put creamer in your coffee with sugar every single day. And that's the only place you get sugar. You're actually doing pretty well. So I'm saying all that to wrap this up with the thought that I want to leave you with, and it's this. Your reset, your 3-step process is going to look different from every single other person. It's yours. There are non-negotiables. I ask my clients for non-negotiables all the time. What aren't we giving up? What foods need to stay? What meals need to stay? And if they're like me and they end up with a sensitivity or intolerance or allergy because of their favorite food, we find a way around it. Nowadays, there's a way around it. And there's one more thing I forgot to put on my list that I wanted to make sure to talk about. I saw this this weekend on Instagram. Another nutritionist put up something about, oh, gosh, just had a flashback. She put up stuff about processed foods, you know, and how there are people that say stop eating processed foods. And I know I always talk about crap, right? Caffeine, artificial ingredients, refined sugars and ingredients, and processed foods. When I say processed foods, I am talking about the chemically processed foods that end up on your plate and aren't really food. Cheese is processed. Hot dogs are processed. Let's say you go and you make mac and cheese. That's processed. When you're looking at any of this, we need to eliminate the guilt. We need to eliminate the negative feelings associated with it and let those go. Because like I just said, this is your health. This process, this 3-step process, your reset, restore, your rejuvenation, it's yours. It's going to look like you. And the outcome is going to be a better, healthier you. And it's going to have this infusion into your brain because you took the time to allow your brain to come with you on this journey. That's the key. Your brain only works so fast. So if you allow your brain to catch up, then you've now infused those healthier habits into your life. Curveball comes at you, you've got your foundation. And your brain will not want to stray from that foundation for very long. It will want to come back. That's how you infuse healthier choices into a healthier lifestyle. You just make it part of your primal instincts. And you do so using a 3-step process. So there's your Monday chit chat. All right, so let me leave you with this one thought. If this feels overwhelming in any way, shape, or form, reach out. Whether you're reaching out to me or you're reaching out to somebody else, reach out. One of our pillars of health is socialization, right? Mindset, socialization, emotional health, and well-being. Your 3-step process might be more of a mindset process than it is actually physically shifting your diet or, you know, shifting some physical activity into your life. Like I said, we're all different. So I hope this was informative. Let me know in the comments below if you've gone through this process yourself. If you've had any success, do you have a tip for those who haven't gone through this process? Share it below and let's help each other out because we need a lot of people to help get healthy. Remember I said 1 billion? It's a lot of people. So share your thoughts below. Reach out if you have any other questions or concerns, anything like that. I'm going to actually share Mandy's comments over on YouTube. I'll put them in a comment below so you guys can see it over there. And I will chat with you guys later. I will see you on Thursday. Go be healthy. Bye, guys.